a whole bunch of different, taking samples of lichens and mosses and such things like that, so that we could, prove to them that this is a balanced ecosystem up there that needs to be left alone. It was a multi-diverse forest that we were in. There was red cedars, Doug firs, silver firs, hemlocks, a lot of different varieties of trees, a very diverse forest where we were at. We guessed one of them to be 2,000 years old, one of the red cedars that was in the stand that we were in. And it was connected to a 10,000 acre sale, and they had to basically log this one first to get access to that. So, yeah. And it ended up being saved. I didn't really work with a group at all. We were just kind of like this loose, independent, menagerie of people. Some people would write letters to the president and congressmen, and one of Bill Clinton's last acts was to save the 10,000 acre sale that we were part of. So that was pretty good.
So how did living in trees for 4 years change you? How did it change you, affected you on a really deep level?
It made me listen. It made me, you can hear the birds in the background, obviously, but it made me hear a lot more of the subtle things that happen around us on an everyday basis. I can actually say that I learned how to listen to the trees, hear the trees speak. I can, in a sense, you can, that's, I think, what makes me a really good tree surgeon or tree trimmer, is that I can get up in a tree and kind of let the tree just tell me where, like, okay, if I'm going to get a haircut, this is how I want it cut, and I can kind of hear that and feel that. So that's what I feel makes me really good.
Some people would say, well, here's this guy who lived in the trees for 4 years to protect them, and now here he is in Iowa City cutting them down. But I imagine that whole experience has informed the way you do things now. Do you ever come across a tree that somebody wants to take down and just say to them, do you really want to do this?
This tree in particular, the one that we're doing now today, it was kind of I was on the same page as the homeowners here to begin with, where we were going to trim it out and, leave the living part to, do what it can for the time that it was.
How old's that tree?
I'd say probably around 200 years old.
Okay.
Now, as time went on, it was obvious to me that more and more was dying back of the tree, and that it would really, and then it's like the hard part of weighing what I would call good money after bad. I would hate to come trim out this tree and have them spend the money to do that, and then 2 years later have to take the rest of the tree down, or even less than that in this tree's case, because there was only a few bottom live branches on this tree and maybe a couple fluffs up top when we started taking this tree down. So, and it's hard to say why this tree died. It's probably because of old age. That's, in an urban setting, sometimes they do live longer, sometimes they don't. So, but that's kind of the case with this one. So, I really don't like taking down trees that don't need to be taken down. I've walked away from trees and just said, yeah, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to find somebody else to take down this perfectly beautiful, healthy oak tree that's, creating, I don't think a lot of people realize that an oak tree, a big giant oak tree on their property, overhanging their house and the neighbor's house and all that, I don't think everybody realizes that actually takes your property value up.
Yeah.
Because of the majestic feel of that tree. So.
And in addition to the, as you said earlier, just the ecosystem that it's maintaining. How many species are coming in contact with that tree on a daily basis and rely on it?
Yeah. Well, the woodpeckers and, could go on. I just saw a hummingbird swing by this maple behind us.
So No, do you do this year round? I mean, what happens if it's the dead of winter and a tree falls on somebody's house and that tree's just, an ice storm, it's just covered in ice? Do you get up in that tree in the ice and
Yeah,
climb it?
we have all the proper equipment for it. I mean, you've heard of people ice climbing.
Yeah. So do you
Why
have
not?
like special shoes, or how do you do it?
Why not tree ice climbing? Yeah, I do have. I actually have ice climbing spikes that I use, and I mean there are gaff spikes, for going up sheer trunk trees. But mainly, we get out there and do it, and yeah, it's a lot harder because you have to chip ice and you have to, make sure you don't slip and fall. And I mean, we're tied in all the time, so that's one of the things that keeps us safe, because it definitely makes it more dangerous. I mean, I've done a lot of like climbing trees prior to doing tree work, but then you throw in the element of using a chainsaw, a sharp object spinning very fastly with your rope, that kind of makes things a whole different element. So.
Yeah, watching you work is like watching an acrobat who has a chainsaw tied to his belt.
In a sense, I am.
That's your new job description. When you're up in these trees, do you ever encounter animals where you're coming into their habitat?
I've been bit by 2 squirrels. One was up in a tree. I got bit by one.
And lived to tell
about it. It was just a little nip, yeah. It just had the side of my finger. The other one was on the ground. It was during the winter, as a matter of fact. We had to take down an oak tree that was dying. And it had come out of the tree, and I as well had come out of the tree about the same time, and burrowed into the snowbank, and somebody was concerned about it and said, "It's in there shivering." And I said, "Okay, well," I put on double layered pair of gloves and thought that would be fine. And well, squirrels can bite really, really hard. So the double layered pair of gloves was really no match because they're wood chewers. They chew on wood all the time. So yeah, it went right through. I had the out of my hand and wouldn't let go. So I kind of had to be a little mean and like squeeze a little bit to get it to let go.
I think most people would probably squeeze the squirrel just a little bit if they were being bit by it.
The squirrel did run away though. So.
That's good.
Yeah. But I've had some encounters with raccoons. That's always fun. When they're spiraling around the tree, and all my employees are like, "They're on the back side. They're over there." They're like, "It's coming at you." And I'm like, eh. There's not much you can. You can move, but I don't have that far to go.
So I have to ask you this: Do you just climb trees for fun? So do you do it for your job? Do you ever just look at a tree and go, "Yeah, I'm going to climb that one"?
Yeah, I've been known to do that. Yeah. I do really enjoy climbing trees.
So Seth Bihun, the son of Laura Jean, the Monkey Queen, you're a dad now.
Yes.
And you and your siblings were all climbing trees, and you've got 2 little ones. Are they climbing the walls at the daycare?
Are they squirrely as well? Yes, they are. Rowan kept on getting one of his. And we have him in a different daycare now, but at one of the daycares he was in, he always got in trouble for climbing up on the shelves, because they keep the toys and all these shelves, and he would get in trouble for that. And the teachers actually made it very clear that they're not afraid that he's going to fall, because he was very adept at climbing up on these shelves and getting on top of the cabinet. But the other kids would want to do it too, and they weren't so adept at doing it. So
they don't have the Bihun family suction cups.
That was the issue with him climbing. So. And Lila, she's about the same. She wants to climb everything. She's my daughter, who's one. Just I can't stop her. I just spot her whenever she tries, because she gets really mad at me whenever I pull her off or something. So
they have it in their systems too. And I imagine you're, just naturally in who you are, you're going to be teaching them this love of the tree canopy and of nature throughout their lives.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me, Seth.
No problem. Thanks for coming out.